Hey guys, GhazzyTV here with another Path of Exile video, and in this one we're going to tackle the 320 balance manifesto, jewels and ailment mitigation changes that we just finished reading. So I wanted to make like a TLDR on what's in this. Obviously this will be linked in the descriptions below, so do check that out if you haven't read it already. Essentially, they're tackling a couple things that are rather interesting. We can start off with the first one, which is basically them changing and altering the mod pool for the jewels to grant us a better access to ailment mitigation across the board. There's some pretty nice additions for the game for this, I think, making it easier for people to access this type of level of defense from a fewer amount of jewels than before. Obviously, the downside of this is that with that change, it will also make it slightly harder to achieve jewels that doesn't have the ailment mitigation, if that's something you're looking to get. I still think that that is a fair change. I don't have any problems with this approach at all. I think it's fine. However, they're making some insane changes to unique jewels, and I'm going to try to do like a quick TLDR of the entire approach to this. So basically, I think a lot of us can all agree that we're in a position where jewels that are unique jewels that are found in the game are mostly just left on the ground because they are in fact just uninteresting. Most of the times we would pick them up would actually be just to vendor them for some alch shards. Now with that in mind, I think that making changes like this would actually make it more interesting and exciting to actually drop them. So they're absolutely correct about these statements that they're making. However, there are a bunch of jewels that are mandatory for a subset of players, but they're tackling this as well in this post. Some of these changes would involve things like combat focus apparently being moved over away from the core drop pool and becoming a vendor recipe that we'll have to find out. Whereas other unique jewels such as build enabling things like the anima stone and the primordial jewels for golems have been changed as well. So in this section right here, it says some other build enabling jewels that affect golems can no longer drop, but can be found from another more deterministic source. While we want you to discover this new source on your own gameplay, you'll see we will say for clarity that they will not be a vendor recipe, so we don't know what's going to happen with the golem jewels. This is actually a really cool change for new and newer players, so you'll be able to have a deterministic, a better way of target farming them, if you will. Now, the only problem I have with this is that we don't know where they're going to put this or how this is going to be achieved. Maybe it will be from farming Einar, but that means that there's a level of RNG of getting Einar missions or scarabs and then encountering the correct beast to get them. But we don't know if they're going to make any changes to that. So without that information, I can't say if it's good or bad. But they are saying that's going to be more deterministic. I don't know how I feel about that, because you know, either something is deterministic or it's not. You can't have less or more deterministic. You can have less variable or a higher probability, but you know, not more deterministic. It's either something is deterministic or it's not, right? But you know, pedantics, right? So in this case, I'm not sure if this is good. It's too early to tell till we see the information of what's actually going to happen with it. I think that in general, at first glance of reading this, I was rather negative to the approach of it. But after reading all of it and giving me a couple seconds to let it sink in, I'm actually not confident that this is going to be a negative post. I think that the changes they're doing seems to actually be going in a pretty healthy way, simply because of the fact that there's so many unique jewels that are completely irrelevant, lower valued, and are just completely, you know, you don't give a shit about them. So with that in mind, now that you're going to drop unique jewels, they will actually have an impact, or at least be somewhat exciting. Some of the other enabling or jewels for a subset of builds would be like the stat transformation jewels. They tackled that in this post as well. They said that those will be corruption jewels instead. So if you want to have them in your build, you have to corrupt the jewels to get them. Which already removes a large set of jewels that you just don't give a shit about. You'd rather just not drop them. You'd rather drop something else that might be worth something, or at least be more attractive for your build to be used. So the exact changes, it's really hard to say if this is good or bad without the exact details, which we'll see in the 320 patch notes. I do think that in general that this is looking rather healthy for the game, but that's just having a rather positive perspective on the changes. But based off what they did with the ailments, I think that the trade-offs are actually pretty cool. Then again, I also feel like I'm kind of high on copium right now with everything that's going on. So we'll see where we land with it. Outside of that, they removed some of the unique quest rewards. They said that these quest rewards, unique jewels, will no longer be offered as quest rewards. Most of the jewels that were previously offered has been removed entirely, though some important ones have had their effects preserved in the form of a new unique item, didn't say specifically jewel, or by being added to the pool of rollable jewel modifiers. And I think that the big part here has mostly to do with Conqueror's efficiency. For those of you who don't know what Conqueror's efficiency looked like, it is this one. It was one of the ways we could give ourselves some reduced mana reservation of skills and mana cost as well through the Wings of Hysteria quest in Act 8. So I mean, either this becomes a droppable jewel, or they have moved the effects of this to somewhere else, or they said it moved over to another item, which didn't specifically state that it would be a jewel. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do with this. You also have to keep in mind that there are a lot of these things that have a replica version as well. And I firmly believe that the replica versions will remain the same. And if they have a replica being the same and not changing that, then I'm pretty confident that they're going to have these become droppable in the core pool. Like they mentioned here, that they've either preserved in the form of a new unique, or in the pool of rollable jewel modifiers. However, they did say that most of the jewels that previously offered have been removed entirely. So I don't think that they have removed all of them, because they just mentioned most of them. So basically, again, it's one of those things that it's impossible to tell if this is good or bad, simply because we might end up with a position where jewels will actually be able to roll reduced mana reservation efficiency, or increased mana reservation efficiency rather. And if that's the case, suddenly jewels will be very, very, very strong and, very attractive to be crafted on as well. Maybe they don't do that, and then it will have some other impact. Without having the exact details, it's really hard to pinpoint how good or bad this might be. Another fun thing that I saw here was that they had a summary on this, and they said players should no longer be burdened with the predictable unique jewels quest rewards. I'll be honest, every time I've encountered a situation where I've done the Vestiri quest, I go to town, I'm gonna hand in the quest, and I see that, shit, I'm getting predictable jewels. The burden, man. It's painful. It's so painful in knowing what I'm gonna get when I hand in the quest. Anyways, I think that all in all, the things that we know seems to be really good. The things that we don't know, which is basically the majority of this post, we need more information to be able to determine if it's a good or bad change. That's all I have to say about this video. If you guys have any comments around what you just read, or if you read the post yourself, share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Till then, stay safe, keep rocking.